The national championship stadium trembles with excitement as the third set begins. The crowd watches in anticipation, waiting for the final arrow that could decide it all. The spotlight falls on Yoo Sanghyun, the youngest archer in the competition. Commentators marvel at his flawless streak, each arrow so far a perfect 10. All hold their breath to see if his last arrow will crown his brilliance. Sanghyun steadies his bow, exhaling slowly as silence falls over the arena. The arrow soars, slicing through the air with perfect form and precision. It slams into the target's center, another bullseye that shakes the crowd with cheers. The shot pierces even the live camera lens, capturing his genius forever. Fans erupt in joy, chanting his name as confetti fills the air. The victory is sealed. Yoo Sanghyun becomes the youngest winner of the national championship. But the glory fades quickly, replaced by harsh reality in a cramped office. Scolded by his superior, Sanghyun apologizes quietly, enduring the humiliation. Colleagues dismiss him as useless, blind to the talent buried in his past. Alone in the hallway, he exhales deeply, forcing himself to survive another day. Memories of his triumphs return, 10 years gone in an instant. Archery was his life, the only path he had to follow. Living with his grandmother, he sought scholarships to chase his dream. Day after day, he practiced relentlessly, pouring everything into the bow. The youngest champion in history, hailed as a prodigy destined for greatness. He believed in his future, convinced that archery would carry him forward. But fate was cruel, and that bright path crumbled before his eyes. Now, trapped in routine, he distracts himself by watching game streams. Full dive games dominate the scene, with capsule systems too expensive for him to afford. So instead, he watches streamers take on challenges in virtual worlds. Donations flow, dares are made, and a streamer fumbles before his laughing audience. Sanghyun can't help but envy them, people acknowledged by thousands. He recalls when he too was recognized, celebrated for his skill. But those days are gone, replaced by the weight of survival. At work, restructuring looms and his position hangs by a thread. Offered the choice, he signs his resignation, aiming to secure severance pay. His superior mocks him, dismissing his career as a favor of connections. With no path forward, Sanghyun quietly accepts, leaving with nothing. That night, he lies in his small apartment, staring into emptiness. The clock turns to 28, another year older, another year lost. His mind drifts back again, 10 years ago when archery was everything. A boy with nothing but his bow, believing the future was his. Endless practice, endless arrows, chasing a destiny that seemed certain. But destiny is fickle, and his brilliance faded into the shadows of time. The truth weighs heavy. He's just a high school graduate with nothing to show. Lying in bed, he wonders in despair, what should he do now? A notification lights up his phone, an invitation to watch a live stream. He sees a message about Bubblegum's stream and pauses, the idea of gaming stirring something inside him. If everything is possible in the game, then shooting arrows like he once did might also be possible. The thought grows, what if he streamed himself doing it, showing the world his skill again? But doubt creeps in. Would people even care? So many skilled streamers already fill the scene. He recalls Bubblegum, a streamer not good at games, yet still loved by thousands. It seems the audience prefers entertainment over raw skill, enjoying the struggle more than perfection. Compared to that, a skilled archer like him would be buried among countless others. Still, the idea gnaws at him. He discovers forums filled with people chasing skill improvement through streams. It reminds him of the world of sports, where recognition comes through endless practice. But reality outside is different, filled with connections, family ties, and countless variables he cannot control. The game world, however, feels pure, a place where skill alone decides everything. It mirrors his past life, where he rose by training relentlessly, leveling up step by step. Eyes burning with determination, he stares at the streaming platform. Maybe even I, he whispers, the thought igniting his will. Resolved, he sits before his computer, ready to grasp at a new future. At a small cafe, Sanghyun sits across from his colleague, sipping on iced coffee. His friend looks at him in disbelief after hearing his decision. "You're going to buy the capsule?" he asks, incredulous. "Yeah," Sanghyun answers calmly. His friend slams the table in frustration. "You're going to use all your money to play games? Are you crazy? You said you've never even played one before." Sanghyun nods quietly. "Yeah." The friend leans forward, desperate. "Don't you remember when you let go of your bow? You can't just..." Sanghyun cuts in with confidence. "Don't worry, I'll do well, seriously." His friend shakes his head. "How do you know if you've never tried? Stop talking nonsense and be realistic." Sanghyun pauses, his eyes softening as he reflects. Seeing how worried Hyunjin is there really a problem? Back at my old company, Hyunjin was the only colleague I could confide in. Hyunjin groans, running a hand over his face. "Hey, It'd be better for you to go to Gangwon Land instead. At least that's less risky. I'm not good at card games, Sanghyun mutters. That's not the point. It's just a metaphor. Hyunjin finally asks, fine, then how much is the capsule? About 4 million won, Sanghyun replies. Hyunjin stares in shock. The device alone costs 4 million. Later, as the sun sets, they arrive together at a building glowing with neon signs. Sanghyun looks up at the structure in awe. This is, he whispers. Hyunjin points ahead. A capsule rental room. Sanghyun blinks in surprise. Isn't this the place where capsules are used, not sold? Just then, a familiar figure comes running by, carrying a large box. Ah, Kang-suk-hyung, Hyunjin calls. The man turns, grinning. Nice to meet you. I'm Lee Kang-suk. With an easy smile, he pats his chest. I heard you're looking to buy a capsule. I think we can give you leftover ones at a cheaper price. Sanghyun watches closely, realizing, so he's the boss of this capsule rental room. Hyunjin looks impressed, nudging him. As expected from an elite, what do you think? Rows of capsules line the facility, glowing with quiet anticipation. Sanghyun looks around, surprised at the sheer number of machines. A worker approaches him with an eager grin, stepping far too close. Before purchasing, should we try it first? He insists, leaning in. Sanghyun flinches, overwhelmed, but nods hesitantly. The man claps his hands, grinning wider. Good, then let's gather your biometric information first. Another worker explains calmly that capsule usage requires physical scans for authentication. Sanghyun stiffens, but agrees as he's ushered toward the scanning booth. It'll be over soon, the worker assures with a smirk. Sanghyun steps inside and exhales slowly, preparing himself. The biometric scan initiates, lights dancing across the screen. His companion thanks the staff, whispering that he feels uneasy about this whole thing. The worker mutters back that he should probably stop Sanghyun. So many already get carried away after watching game streamers. Games these days are expensive, and people often mistakenly think they can prove themselves through them. But reality doesn't work like that, he warns grimly. Even with full dive, games and reality differ. Without physical limits, the distinction fades and true mental strength is tested. Perhaps he suggests Sanghyun will give up after this test game and move on with his life. The scan completes and the worker decides the best option is to let him try once. The game you'll access is called Real Olympics. Since you were an archer, I'll set it to archery. Sanghyun sits in the capsule, his heart pounding. The worker tells him to decide based on his score after the trial. With that, the capsule door closes, locking Sanghyun in. Blue light floods his vision as the system activates. His body remains inside, but his mind feels like it's being pulled away. An electric rush overtakes him, his senses scrambling as the virtual dive begins. He gasps, shocked by the strange sensation before being completely engulfed. When his eyes open, Sanghyun finds himself on a sunlit field. Leaves drift gently in the air, and before him stands a professional archery range. He looks down, his outfit is different, a competition uniform shimmering with virtual detail. For the first time in years, a bow rests in his hands once more. The crowd roars in the distance, the atmosphere brimming with tension. It really looks like the Olympics, Sanghyun mutters, gripping the bow tighter. He raises it carefully, the first arrow, his heart races. A voice echoes in his memory, his coach's reprimand. Don't you remember what happens when you let go of your bow? His hands tremble, doubt gnawing at him. Can I really do this? He whispers as his fingers shake. Time feels frozen. Observers outside watch nervously. Why isn't he shooting? One murmurs. Maybe he's nervous, another replies. First-timers often are. But inside, Sanghyun steadies his breath. The grip, the string, the tension. They're not real, and yet they feel achingly familiar. His hands stop trembling. A calm clarity overtakes him. Now, they're no longer shaking, he breathes. He releases. The arrow slices through the air. 10 points. Dead center. Gasps erupt. 10 points? Again and again he achieves 10 points. Without hesitation, Sanghyun knocks another arrow. Every shot lands perfectly, the crowd exploding in disbelief. Outside, his companions gape. Didn't you say this game was different from reality? Yeah, but he's adapting faster than anyone I've seen. On the field, Sanghyun's presence shifts, his eyes sharpen, his movements refined. He looks different, one whispers. What's his true identity? You finished the game! The system chimes, pulling him back. Light fades, and he opens his eyes inside the capsule again. The staff praise him excitedly, marveling at his skill. His friend's voice trembles. What's your true identity? You were the youngest gold medalist? Memories flood back. Sanghyun's past glory, his accident, the reason he quit. The burden, the regret, the dreams left unfinished. His friend watches, determined. I really want to help him. But Sanghyun clutches his head, shaking as old emotions overwhelm him. He really likes archery, his friend thinks as Sanghyun struggles with the weight of returning to the sport he once loved.